Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So I'm going to show you guys how to draft a princess dart bustier. So if you're a beginner and you're afraid of drafting this, I promise you by the end of this video, you'll be able to draft it using your own measurements or your client's measurement. So let's proceed. The first line there is a shoulder line. The second is the bust point line. The third is the under bust line, and the last one is my front half length. And remember, these are vertical measurements. You take it from your shoulder down, okay? So the shoulder measurement of my client is 14.5 inches divided into 2 to get 7.25 inches. So that's what I marked on the shoulder line. And I'm using a neck width of 3 inches. And remember, we divide the shoulder into 2 because your pattern is folded into 2, all right? So I'll first place a shoulder slope of 1 inch. So I can get my chest line accurately. So I will connect to the neck width. And to get your chest line or your armhole line, divide the bust circumference measurement by 6, then you add 1.5 inches. So for instance, if you have a bust circumference of 36 inches, you divide it by 6, all you get is 6, then you add 1.5 inches. So for your chest line, you're going to be working with 7.5 inches. So that's an example. So I did mine and I marked what I got there. So I'm actually confirming now to make sure I place that mark exactly at the shoulder width. Okay, so I'll connect with a straight line. So I'll draw out the horizontal line because that is the chest line. That is where I'm going to be imputing my bust circumference measurement divided by 4. So now for my front pattern, you guys know I like to use 1.5 inches for the shoulder slope. So I went ahead to mark down 5.5 inches more to create that shoulder slope of 1.5 inches, because if I do it like that, I have a perfect tightness around the armhole of the front. Okay, so for my front, I use 1.5 inches for the shoulder slope, and for the back, I use 1 inch. So I went ahead to divide what is remaining of the line. Then I will come in by 1/2 inch. So I divided what is remaining after the 1.5 inches shoulder slope. I divided it, I got the center, and I went in by 1/2 inch. So on that chest line, I'm going to place the bust circumference measurement divided by 4. So that is what I placed there. And I'm going to connect these 3 points together to create my front armhole curve. The bust span, that is the nipple to nipple measurement of my client, is 7.5 inches. Please go ahead and take the measurement on yourself. So I would divide that 7.5 inches into 2. I'm dividing into 2 because my pattern is folded into 2. Okay, so when you open it up, you're going to be getting that 7.5 inches. So I divide it into 2, and I place what I got on the bust point line. I place it on the under bust line. I also place it on the front half length, and I'm going to connect with a straight line. So on the under bust line, I'm going to go in towards the center front with 1/2 inch. So I placed 1/2 inch there. And on the waistline, the front half length as well, I marked 1/2 inch, and I'm going to connect with a straight line. So now towards the side, I used 1.5 inches there because my client is not busty. If I'm working with a client that is busty or more than, I use 2 inches or more than 2 inches, but my client is not busty, so I used 1.5 inches there. I also marked that 1.5 inches on the front half length. So if you calculate, I use a total dart of 2 inches there, 1/2 inch towards the center front and 1.5 inches towards the side front. So I'm going to go ahead and curve towards that bust span that we marked. I'll do the same thing to the side as well. Please, if you have any question, please drop it in the comment section regarding the way I splitted the darts. So if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. So I'm extending to show you guys that is a dart. I'm going to be cutting it out, okay? So now to curve my princess dart, I like using that 1/2 inch that I went in on the armhole. So that my armhole curve there, remember the 1/2 inch I went in with? So exactly that place that I'm pointing out, that is where I like marking my princess dart. Some people have a measurement that they use. Just do what works for you, okay? But for me, I prefer using this because it gives me a perfect armhole curve. So I went and curved it in towards that bust pan. And remember that that of 1.5 inches that I went out towards the side front. Remember I placed 1.5 inches towards the side front. I'm going to mark it down from this curve that I created on that armhole curve. Okay, so that place that I'm marking now, what I placed there is a dart of 1.5 inches. So I use a dart of 1.5 inches there. Then I'm going to curve towards that bust span. So I'm just going to place a curve there. Please bear in mind that if you're curving, don't make your curve too pointy, make it round, don't make it too pointy, even though we're going to be eliminating pointiness when we're done drafting. So I'm going to extend that line by 1.5 inches. So some people ask me, why am I extending it? You're extending it because if you sew it exactly the way it is, you're going to notice that your side front will be shorter than your center front pattern. Okay, the curve is going to be shortened. So I am adding extra 1.5 inches. If it's better is excess, so you now trim off your armhole, than is not enough. Okay, so some people even go ahead and add up to 2 inches, but I like using 1.5 inches. Okay, so that I marked on that armhole curve, I'm going to replace it after that my bust circumference divided by 4 measurement that I marked there. So I'm going to replace it then, and I will redraw my armhole curve. Like I said, when you sew and it is much, you're going to go ahead and trim it off, but it's better you trim it off than it is not enough. Okay, so I'll proceed to place my circumference measurements. So I'm placing the round waist measurement. So the round waist measurement is gotten after the bust measurement. So I'm going to show you guys how to take accurate measurements, because I know some people will be like, which one is the round waist measurement, which one is the waist measurement, which one is the bust circumference measurement? Because if you're new to tailoring, all these things are going to be so new to you. Okay, so I'm going to start a beginner series, and in that beginner I'm going to show you how to take accurate measurements and draft your basic bodies, and basically the basics in tailoring. So I'll go ahead and curve the side. Remember, all these the circumference measurements, you divide them by 4. So I divided my round waist by 4 and added the 2 inches of that, and also did the same thing for the waist. Okay, now the front half length I worked with is 17.5 inches, and the back is 15 inches. So it has a difference of 2.5 inches, and that difference of 2.5 inches is what we use as the bust dart. Okay, and you place it from your bust point downwards. So I'm going to connect with a straight line all the way to that bust span. So that is the bust dart. I'm exercising it. I'm going to be closing up the bust dart by opening up one dart. So I'm going to open the waist dart, and I will close up the bust dart. So like as I'm saying, I'm going to start a beginner series, and please, if you have someone that wants to learn tailoring from the basics, I know you need to go for a physical class as well, but the series I'm starting, if you're a beginner, if you're watching it and you're following it, I promise you're going to learn tailoring. It is not difficult. I know some people feel like it's difficult. It's not difficult. I am not a professional. I am not like very perfect at it, but I like teaching and I want to impact that knowledge, the little that I have. I want to impact that knowledge on others as well. So I'm starting the beginner series. I'll start from how to take a basic bodice, how to take your accurate measurements, how to draft your basic bodies, how to draft your skirts, how before we enter into the bustiers, because if you don't have an like the basic idea of tailoring, all these bustiers, corsets, you'll be having a little bit issues with it. I feel like you can sit down and draft out your own method. For instance, I taught myself how to draft, how to sew a corset. I didn't attend any class. I taught myself. I taught myself so many things. The physical class I went for was to learn how to, start the basics, but I didn't really learn the basics from there. So back to our video. So I'm trying to eliminate all the pointiness. So please make sure to eliminate the pointiness. You don't, especially towards this bust point, you don't need it to be pointy. Please eliminate it, curve it out, and I promise you, you're not going to be losing anything from your pattern. Instead, you're going to be getting a perfect fit. Go ahead and curve it. So I'm experiencing to show you guys that is a dart, and I'm going to be cutting all those parts that is being asterised. Remember, the bust dart is closed down permanently, so please do not open it up. I'm going to go ahead and determine the neckline that I'm working with. I had in mind that my client said no showing of cleavages, so I'm going to go ahead and choose a decent neckline for her, and I will cut it out. So back to what I was saying, please, if you like the idea of starting a beginner series, just comment on the comment section, beginner series, and I'm going to start it. So please go ahead and share this video to people. Please tell people about this channel. And thank you so much for my subscribers. Like, I have not made an upload this year, and I am really sorry about that. I was just faced with a lot. I've been faced with a lot this year, honestly, but I'm grateful that I am strong and I am better. So I am so sorry for going offline for so long, but I promise you guys I am back and better, and I'll be dropping videos for you guys. Please like, please comment, please subscribe, and please share this video to people. I love you guys. I love you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out my pattern. And please remember that I did not add any allowance to this pattern. So when you're cutting it out on your fabric, go ahead and add allowance. For instance, towards that center front and side front, to join that cup side, I like to add as much as 0.75 inches allowance on both sides. But if you're a professional, you know that you're not going to make any mistakes. Go ahead and add ½ inch allowance that you're going to use to join the two together. Please don't just go straight and sew it like this. You're going to have a lot of errors. So go ahead and add allowance, and towards the side, like towards that side, add allowance of up to 2 inches so you can easily reshape it when the person is adding. I like to add as much as 2 inches allowance towards the side, and towards the parts where I joined the cups, I add ½ inch allowance. So the summary of everything I'm saying is, please don't forget to add allowance. We just cut this in exactly how the body measurement is. So remember to add your sewing allowance. Yeah. So watch the way I'm cutting it out. So I went ahead and cut it out, and that is pretty much it for the front. Yeah, it's that easy. Okay, now you know that you can use your own measurements to draft it. Look at how this one is. Let's proceed to the back. I just used the basic back, so you can make the back to be a princess cut or use a basic back like I did. So for the back, let me just walk you guys through it. So the first line you're seeing there is the shoulder line, the second one is the bust point line, and the third one is the half length, the back half length. And remember, the back half length I'm working with is 15 inches, and that's vertical line that I placed there shows that that line is a shoulder, is a zipper allowance. So I'm starting from that vertical line outwards towards my pattern. Okay, so I placed the shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then I went in and I marked the shoulder slope of 1 inch. I remember I used the neck width of 3 inches, so I'm just going to go ahead and curve it in. Then remember the way we'll get our chest line, the bust circumference measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So I place what I got there, and I'm also confirming to make sure I place it exactly at the shoulder width, which is 7.25 inches. So I'm going to connect with a straight line. Then I'll draw out my chest line. Like I said, this is just a basic back. And I'm also going to show you guys how to eliminate the zebra bulge. So you don't need to have, just remember that the back is not straight. Get rid of the zebra bulge, okay? So I'm dividing that line into 2. Then I'll go in with 0.25 inches. So for the back armhole curve, I use 0.25 inches. And for the front, I use 1/2 inch, okay? So on the chest line, I'm going to place the bust circumference divided by 4. Remember, I'm placing all this measurement from that vertical line there. I am not including that zip allowance. Please do not include your zipper allowance. You're using that allowance to attach your zips. So I'm going to go ahead and curve. So that is my back armhole curve. Now to get rid of the zipper bulge, on the waistline, I'm going to go in from that vertical line. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch. Then I'll slant it up. I'll slant it up. I'm doing this because our back is not straight. You need to get rid of the zipper bulge, okay? So I'm placing all the measurements from that 1/2 inch that I went in. That is where I'm marking my dot, and the dot that I marked there is that my bust span measurement, which is 3.75 inches. That is what I placed there. Then I'm going to take the measurements I have from that zip, what's it called, that 1/2 inch, that I went in. I will take that measurement and I will mark up on that bust point line. So on that bust point line, I went up by 1 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect my dots. What I'm doing is actually self-explanatory, so just follow what I'm doing, because right now I don't know what I'm saying. So I'll go ahead and connect with a straight line, and I'm using a dot of 1/2 inch on both sides, making a total of 1 inch. So I'm going to place it and I will curve. I'll draw it out all the way to that mark that I placed on that burst point. So connect with a straight line. Then I'll go ahead and redraw my zipper allowance. Remember, it's slanty right now, so you're going to place that 1 inch perfectly well. So that is what I'm doing. So I'm going to mark 1 inch there. You can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm marking it very well because you guys know that we contoured that waist side by going in by 1/2 inch, okay? So you need to retrace your zipper allowance. So what I'm tracing now, what I'm marking there is my zip allowance, okay? So we're going to go ahead and place the waist circumference measurement divided by 4 plus the dart allowance. Remember, when you're placing all your circumference measurements, you do not include the zip allowance. It's for the zip. Do not include the zip allowance. So I'm going to mark. Then I'll place back that dart of 1 inch. and we are done. So please go ahead to add allowance to your fabrics when you're cutting it out. Go ahead and add allowance. So I went ahead and decided on the kind of neckline that I want. So I just used a kind of a U shape there at the back. So I marked 6 inches down, then connected with a straight line to that zip allowance. Then I will place my curve and curve the deep U. So I'm making sure that I'm placing it exactly where the front started as well. And that is pretty much it for this pattern drafting. Please, when you're cutting it out on your fabric, I'm emphasizing on this because some people might forget. Please, if you're cutting it out on your fabric, add allowance to them, okay? Towards the side front, add as much as 2 inches allowance, and for your front pattern, towards that part you're going to join both the center front and the side front, add at least half inches allowance there, so you can use the half inches allowance to join your patterns together. So this has brought us to the end of this tutorial. Please, if you find this video helpful, please kindly hit the like button, and if you want me to start this beginner series, please just type beginner series. Even though I've made up my mind though, yeah, I'm starting. I love teaching, and I feel like I need to address some things: how to take your accurate body measurements, how to come up with your own basic block, how to draft your basic skirts before we enter into the bustiers and corsets. Because if you don't understand these basics, you're going to have issues with your bustiers, with your corsets, and all that. So I'm going to see you guys in my next video. I love you guys. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep commenting, and I will reply to your comments. If you have any questions, you guys know, drop it down on the comment section. I will attend to it. I love you so much. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.